The next environmental issue is the climate change. So let's start with what climate change basically is. Now you can say that climate change, it is a significant and long lasting change which shows variations in the weather patterns over a period ranging from decades to million years. It means what scientists are trying to study the patterns of how the climate is being changed over a period of time, means from billions of years to the past few decades, what transformation has been taken place in the climate. And it is a very long lasting change. Adverse effects have been shown. Certain effects we will be studying what were the causes of the climate change. You can say that unbalancing the weather of the earth have caused disadvantages to the ecosystem, and this changes has been done to overall climate. If you will notice the image of earth, if you search for the previous images of the earth, you will notice the difference how earth is looking now. The images which are provided by NASA, you can see the difference how today's picture is and how the picture was available in the past years, how difference has been created. And this is done due to the effects caused by humans only. And one thing what that is very important, that now this has become scientific curiosity. In spite of being concern, it has also become a curiosity. Why it has become curiosity? Because people are not understanding what is the importance of the climate, and due to this effects are shown, effects can be visible. Like if excess heat is there, crops will be damaged. Excess rain is there, again crops will be damaged. Floods will be there, tsunami will be there. This will indirectly be a threat to the economic. It can be crisis, economic crisis. Why? Because if crops are not produced, then we are not going to get food, the economy is not going to work. Then the produce consumers are not going to get food, producers are not going to produce their own food. So all this are related to economic crisis and end of life on earth. Now certain causes are available over here. First one is the ocean variability. Now ocean variability means what? It deals with two things. That is, first one is the ocean current and second one is the thermal inertia. Ocean current means what? Now the water near the land is saline water. Though as the water moves deep inside the sea, it is less saline, and over there the current is being produced. The tides which we see in oceans, seas, rivers, or beaches where we go, the tides, they are having a higher friction in the deeper side as compared to near the land. So what basically ocean current is, it is created inside the ocean. The water is flowing from one part to the other part of the ocean, and also it can be 1,000 kilometers in length and 200 kilometers wide. Now over here this ocean currents can be generated in two forms. First one you can say is the warm current, second one you can say is the cold current. The warm current is the current which is generated, or you can say which flows from equator, which is generated from the equator. And the other current, that is a cold current, it is generated in the opposite direction and it is flowing towards the equator. Warm current is generated near the equator, cold current is flowing towards the equator. This is what basically current is. Now thermal inertia means what? As I already explained, ocean current, the water has a capacity, you can say, of high current, of high power, high electricity or high heat. Water can has a capacity to generate high heat. One more thing is there, it takes a lot of amount of time, water takes a lot amount of time to generate the heat as well as to lose the heat. So you can say it becomes resistant to that, and this resistance causes thermal inertia, means changes in the weather. Okay, the second one is orbital variation. Orbital variation means what? When there are changes in the orbit of the earth, so, certain calculations will be moved. Okay, when certain calculations will be moved, then the sunlight which reaches the earth, since the orbits are moved, the sunlight will have issues in reaching to the earth. Not issues exactly, you can say that the sunlight which was evenly distributed, over there you will see certain changes, although these changes are not visible through human eyes. But space researchers have found that orbital variations are leading to distribution of the sunlight shows changes in that, and then it is not evenly distributed across the globe. It is also a type of concern. That is what orbital variations is all about. The third one is solar radiation. Now, when we talk about solar radiations, I have already explained y'all what greenhouse effect is all about. I have already explained atmosphere. We can say that atmosphere is like an envelope which is covering the earth. Due to this atmosphere, the people who are surviving on the earth are warmed. Warmness is provided by the atmosphere. If this atmosphere didn't exist, then the temperature will be minus 18 degrees Celsius, and no life will sustain on earth. So what is happening over here? Solar radiations, they play a very important role. If solar radiations are generated in excess amount, it means that it will have its adverse effect. If the solar radiations are generated in less amount, even that is having adverse effects. Both of the things are having adverse effects. Less is also a threat and more is also a threat. Nowadays we are noticing that solar radiations which are created is generating more heat due to the effects which are caused by humans only. So the temperatures are rising, glaciers are melting, water levels are rising. These are drawbacks only of solar excess production of solar radiation. Fourth one is volcanism. Volcanism means what? Due to weather changes, again I'm repeating what is happening due to excess heat, volcanic eruptions take place. And when volcanic eruptions take place, the eruptions which flow through the volcanoes, what are happening? Excess heat is generated over there. When excess heat is generated, this is changing the climate and the temperature of the earth, because certain gases are released in the atmosphere, and these directly mixes in the atmosphere, changes the temperature, overall temperature of the atmosphere. Okay, the next one is plate tectonics. Plate tectonics, I have already explained y'all it in the lithosphere. Now lithosphere is a layer which is called as crust. Upper layer of the earth is called as lithosphere. This crust is divided into two parts. Previously, that is around 335 billion years ago, this crust was together as a whole continent, and due to earthquake or due to friction in the plates, between the plates, what happened? All these plates, they drifted apart and they were divided by water. Due to this, we got water crust and land crust. Initially it was Pangea, a whole one single continent, but over the years it leads to over the year what happened, it led to drifting them apart and creating seven different plates, and those are separated by water. And then we got two crust, one was land crust, another was water crust. So this is what plate tectonics all about. Now human influence means what? There are n number of factors which are humans responsible for carelessness towards the environment, making then people are using vehicles day by day. Planting of trees is less, cutting of trees is more in order to create factories, buildings, concrete roads, etc. Mountains are being crushed. All those are slabs are used somewhere else. So all these are human things. All these are human created problems which are causes changing in the environment. So it's better we learn all these things properly and we learn from our mistakes, so that whatever condition is now, we are not making it more adverse for the future. The next issue which you all are going to study is global warming. Now global warming and greenhouse effect is one and the same. They are, you can say, two sides of one coin. How global warming is caused? It is caused by greenhouse gases and also the climate change, because as the climate is changing, heat is increasing, Now, and all the greenhouse gases, I have already explained you all what greenhouse effect is. When there is increase in the greenhouse gases, again the temperature is rising. So basically what global warming is, when the temperature of the atmosphere rises, what happens? It increase in the concentration of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Less amount of heat is escaping in the space, more amount of heat is being absorbed by our planet earth. And when more amount of heat is absorbed, this is causing problem to the humans, because we are having a level of absorption, we are having certain level of tolerance, and after that even human body cannot tolerate heat. Even the glaciers are melting, we all know that the water levels are rising. Why all these things are happening? Because of the side effects of the global warming, side effects of the greenhouse gases, or side effects which are caused in the climate. Excessive heat is what creating all these problems. And you may notice that during summer season excessive heat is there, people feel dizziness, and many side effects are there due to excessive heat. What people are doing, they go back to their home, they make use of air conditions, and in turn what they are doing, they are contributing to the climate, they are contributing more more progress, you can say, or more effects to the climate. Because what they will do, they will go back to their homes, they'll turn on their air conditions. Air conditions are releasing chlorofluorocarbons, and these chlorofluorocarbons are again evaporated in the space, which are accepted by the ozone layer, and excess amount is creating holes in the ozone layer, which leads to UV rays, penetration of UV rays on the earth, and this penetration, excess penetration, will cause cancer and damage of the crop. The cancer is also caused if crops are damaged, food is not produced. All this is cycle. So in short, I can say that greenhouse, climate change, global warming, they all walk hand in hand. One thing which is important, that we have to control the rise of temperature in the atmosphere, because if atmosphere warmness will not exist in a proper manner, no life will be there in future. The next issue which you all are going to study is the acid rain. Now what basically acid rains are? We all know that the rain clouds are formed of pure water, but sometimes gases such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, they chemically reacts with the water and the oxygen which is present in the atmosphere of the earth, and they fall back on the earth in the form of acid rain. So one thing which I want to tell you all, the basic reason which causes acid rain are the two gases. First one is the sulfur dioxide, second one is the nitrogen oxide. When these two acid, they chemically react with water and oxygen. As we know that water and oxygen is already present in the atmosphere, when these two gases, they chemically react with water and oxygen, this leads to the formation of acid rains. Now there are two types of acid rains. First one is called as wet deposition, and second one is called as dry deposition. Now what is wet deposition? Wet deposition means the one that contains the water, and the dry deposition is one that contains dust and gases. Now these are the two types. Okay, now we all know that there are natural causes also and man-made causes also for the formation of acid rains. Now first I am going to explain you all what are the natural causes, then we will move to what are the man-made causes. Now natural causes includes like rotting of dead plants and vegetation, means the plants which are dead now or are rotting, those. And second one is the eruption of volcanoes. Now what basically happens over here, let's take example of rotting plants, dead plants. Now in the plants, the dead plants, what they are having, they consist of two atoms. When the plants are dead, still they have the amount of sulfur dioxide and carbon, they still have the amount of sulfur and carbon atom present in them. since they are dead, then too they are having these two atoms present in them. And when the people, they are burning this fossils or they are burning the coal, what is happening? These sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide is released from that fossil and it is evaporated in the air. And when it gets evaporated in the air, it gets mixed with the sunlight. And when gets mixed with the sunlight, acid reaction takes place and we get acid rains. So this was how naturally the acid rain is caused. Now, second one is the man-made cause. Now, what will be the man-made cause? Man-made cause are the basic human activities like burning of the fossil fuels, then chemicals which are released from the factories, and harmful smokes which are produced from the vehicles. You can see this picture over here. I have already explained you the concept, what is dry deposition, what is wet deposition. Now, what is happening over here? This is the chemicals which are released from the factory. Over here also harmful smoke is coming out from the vehicle. When all this type of smokes, they are released from factories and from vehicles or from burning the fossils, what is happening? It gets mixed in the atmosphere, and when it gets mixed in the atmosphere, acidic reaction takes place and we see what is acid rains. Now we all know one thing, that normal rains are also little acidic. I don't know whether you all are knowing this concept or not, but yes, the normal rain are also little acidic in nature. Why it is acidic in nature? Because the normal water, when it is ready to fall on the surface of the earth, what happens? It gets chemically interacted or it gets chemically reacted with carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, which is present in the atmosphere. Again, I am repeating what is happening. The normal rains, they get mixed with the carbon dioxide which is present in the atmosphere and then they fall on the earth. And what is generated? pH 6 levels are generated, which is not as harmful. But when the fuels are burned, smokes is produced from the vehicle or chemical is released, what is happening over there? Sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, these are the stronger acids which are created and they evaporated and get mixed in the rain. They get evaporated in the atmosphere, get mixed with the rain, and which leads to the formation of acid rains, and it is having a pH 3 level. This pH 3 level is very harmful and it can be irritant for our respiratory tract. It is a flammable toxic gas. So you all can know that the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, when gets mixed with the atmosphere, forms acid rain. How much damage it can cause, what can be the effects?